big Senate hearing to confirm Trump's nominee to the SEC. That hearing wasn't about any of the substance that we should expect, but instead was a masterclass on how incompetent both of these parties are right now. It's no surprise that Trump is running roughshod over both of them. And if you thought you'd learn anything about how the SEC is going to approach crypto rules, let's unpack for you all the ways in which the Republicans and Democrats are going to disappoint you. I've got three main takeaways for you. First is that the Senate is broken, Democrat and Republican. Second is that there's a great big China hypocrisy underlying all of our public discourse right now. And three, this hearing should have been the opportunity for the public to get the hearing it deserves on crypto. Instead, never happened. So let's go unpack the first point. The Senate is broken, starting with the Republicans. They're the ones who engineer this procedural mess. Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution gives the Senate the responsibility to provide advice and consent for officers of the United States. For political appointments, this hearing is their job interview, and it's the Senate's job to interview them. But instead of doing that job, the Republicans chose form over function. So yeah, they had the nominees in there, but they didn't allow for time to actually do any part of the interview process. Normally, we would expect an entire hearing devoted to one of these nominees. We've got the chair of the SEC, who's responsible for all of our public markets. We've got OCC, who's responsible for all the banks. We've got the Assistant Treasury Secretary, who's responsible for cybersecurity of financial institutions. We've got the FTA Administrator, in charge of public transportation. These are completely unrelated nominees. Generally, you would get 2 hours for each one. So here, the Senate Republicans decided to jam 4 of them in less than 2 hours. So what happened? Well, as an example, the OCC nominee, Jonathan Gould, was under oath answering questions for about 3 minutes. The last time there was an OCC nominee, that guy answered questions under oath for about 60 minutes. That's a 1900% drop in accountability. There's no way that Congress can vet anyone who's going to oversee federal agencies in 3 minutes. This just isn't American Idol. Democrats had a great opening to really drive home that point. What did they do? They squandered the opportunity. They could have coordinated. They could have created a game plan. It was no surprise to anyone that the Republicans were going to mess with the rules like this. But instead, the Democrats just complained about the Republicans. It's like watching a group project where no one read the first instruction, which was work together. All we got was basically some version of, do you want this job? Not how qualified are you? Not what would you do in a certain situation? Not how would you regulate the crypto industry? More like, I don't like you. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help the American public. Now, for as much as the Democrats failed to drive home any point, there's one thing that the Republicans did align on, and that is China.
China.
As an example,
CEOs of Chinese companies listed on American exchanges have sold their stock, and the stock immediately went down, and the American investors had to bear the losses. $10 billion worth.
So yes, there's about 285 Chinese companies listed on our public stock exchanges. But you know the one Chinese company that none of these senators talked about? TikTok. TikTok, a single company, makes over $10 billion in U.S. ad revenue. From your phone, from your kids, from your data. These same Republicans had voted overwhelmingly to ban it. The Supreme Court unanimously upheld that ban. And yet Trump has completely ignored that law. We're on day 79 of this. So if Republicans were really going to panic about Chinese companies, it seems reasonable that they should start with the one Chinese company everyone knows about. It's not a serious policy stance. And now, the crypto conversation that never happened. This hearing was actually a golden opportunity to talk about the future of crypto rules. It was an issue that the SEC nominee, Paul Atkins himself, flagged in his opening testimony. What a great opening. And yet we got nothing. We have Senator Warren going on about
like Sam Bankman-Fried, who committed one of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history,
who's already in jail and irrelevant to any future regulation. Republican Senator Kennedy was the only other person who brought up crypto and again brought up SBF, but oddly,
Sam Bankman-Fried's parents who were involved in the fraud make sizable donations to Stanford University. Mr. Atkins, I want you to find out.
It has nothing to do with crypto regulations and certainly is not under the jurisdiction of the SEC. That's the Department of Justice. This was another opportunity that Democrats completely squandered. Rather than taking the time to consider and research what smart crypto regulations might look like, they had Warren go off about SBF and then ask about
the Consolidated Audit Trail, CAT,
something no one in the public knows about. But you know what members of the public do know about? They know about crypto, and they want to know what the government is going to do about it, whether good, bad, or nuanced. They could have asked, how should we treat stable coins? How will the SEC coordinate with the CFTC on token classification? How should crypto exchanges be regulated? Instead, the Democrats just looked like big techno noobs again, out of touch with tech and out of touch with the public. So was there any silver lining? Well, considering that they weren't asked any real questions, the nominees looked great. We may not know if they're dum-dums or corrupt. For what it's worth, I don't think that they are either. But unfortunately, they didn't get the chance to demonstrate that. Total embarrassment for Congress all around.